Hi lovely friends, welcome or welcome back to Tarot AF. So today I have another pick a card reading for you all on who is coming into your life and what are they bringing. So I'm really excited about this one. Firstly, what we're going to look at is who this person is. We're going to look at their energy when they come into your life and how that relationship or connection develops and what they become to you. We'll then look at what they are bringing, so what the overall lesson and what the purpose of this connection is, and spirit will help guide us through that, and at the end we'll get some advice for what to expect or how to approach this connection when it arises. So we have 4 piles ready and waiting for you guys today. We have pile 1 with the Lightseers Tarot deck and the Flower Agate Cube. We have pile 2 with the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot and the Moss Agate Moon. We have pile 3 with the Transient Light Tarot deck and the Sunstone, and then we have pile 4 with the Marigold Tarot and the Honey Calcite Heart. So what you can do, you can take a moment, you can pause the video, meditate over it if you'd like, and see which pile is intuitively drawing you in. And what I do is I post the times in the box below and you can meet me there for your reading. I will see you then. Bye! Hi lovely friends of pile 1. So if you picked the Lightseers Tarot deck and the Flower Agate Cube, then this reading is going to be for you. So firstly, we're going to look at who this person is through these oracle cards. So they are represented by the healer firstly. So I feel like this person, and maybe the significance of the connection and the relationship, is that they are potentially a light worker, but I think they're the struggles of their past hurts, and the wounds that they carry emotionally, physically, mentally, they are healing from those and can be a great catalyst for other people to heal through their own example, but also they are still cracking open those wounds in terms of breaking down their ego and the plan and the things that we all get trapped in, the cycles of chasing things that may not actually make our heart glad. So I feel like this person's significance is of a spiritual nature, potentially for a lot of people, but I think it's really spirit saying it's karmic relations, that this person has come at this point to you when they do arrive in your life to help you heal that and to listen to your own ego and your ego's plan and to potentially break that down in order to open up to spirituality and maybe spirit in some way. But also with the healer, it obviously implies, like I said, someone who has been wounded, who has learnt from their wounds, who wears those scars and shows them proudly and shows people how they can heal themselves and overcome, but also potentially that so that there might be something within you when you meet this person that calls for that. But also this, with this healer card, it's kind of this very kind of self-contained person, I think, very much in tune with their bodies, in tune with themselves, and very protective, has really strong boundaries and kind of ability to differentiate what they will and won't accept, what energy they will and won't accept into their lives. So the fact that they've opened up and allowed yourself in, and maybe their boundaries and how they deal with the outside world and the energy coming in and what they will and won't allow, is something to further that along within you as well. If you feel like you're someone that gives a lot of yourself to a lot of people, maybe you're in need of a healer, someone to look after you in that way, to help you recognize that within yourself and help you erect those boundaries in some ways. But I want to see how you'll first see them. Oh, that's the wrong way around. Sorry, I've got my piles the wrong way around. So we have the Earthworm firstly, we have Sadness, and we also have Walking Away. So with these cards, with Earthworm first, I feel like this could be quite near the start of their journey as a healer, or maybe it's something that they haven't even opened up to in terms of helping other people. This person could even be, I'm hearing, for some could be a therapist or a life coach or a spiritual life coach, maybe even a counselor for other people. But I think when you first meet this person, when they first come into your life, they might be quite shy and reserved, and it may feel like they're a novice in their field in some way, and maybe they still haven't fully, there's maybe still some sadness within them in terms of their wounds, like I was saying. So maybe they haven't fully kind of walked away and released that trauma from their past, in terms of like feeling like they have overcome it and they feel like it is a part of their journey, as opposed to, I think they're still in that space where it still feels like it's dictating their lives a lot at that point. So it may be someone who initially you might help and you might heal, and vice versa. I think you both learn and grow from one another is my first initial instinct. But with this earthworm, I think, I mean, the progression, I know there's snakes in this picture, but the progression sort of kind of reptile, as it were, from, well, earthworms aren't reptiles, but you know, that kind of, the kind of shyness and the innocence and almost the vulnerability of the earthworm in a lot of ways, kind of that that contained nature, and then with that snake kind of opening up and the color all around it, I feel like this person contains a lot of what is inside them potentially at first, and feels a bit like a novice, and maybe wants to help other people, but maybe doesn't know the way around it, maybe needs advice in that way. But with this walking away, they might even be quite resistant when you first meet them. Maybe their energy is that of they seem quite closed off. And like they have got their barrier way up, which is obviously, like I said, if they do have those barriers in place, then the fact that they lower them for you is a really interesting thing. And I think they may be reluctant at first, but I think it's all in earnest of their own protection and trying to look after themselves after the pain of their past. And I think they are trying to walk away, but you know, that gate's not closed fully yet, so maybe there's something that keeps them in there, as it were. But they may feel quite intimidated by your spirit. They may be intimidated by where you are, but there's this hope, and I think there's this hope of understanding and seeing that someone may be quite alike to you, or can maybe identify the same within you. So you may end up being in quite similar places in your lives. And with this healer card, I do feel like it's a shared healing, like I said, karmic relationship, something which really opens both of you up to new energy in a lot of ways. And I think it's not about forgetting where you've been or the source of your hurts or anything like that. It's not walking away and releasing in that respect. It's growing away from, and like I said, not allowing those experiences to carry on and lead your decisions moving forward. So I think you're able to see, at least at one point in your life, maybe what this person is going through and help them in that way. And in turn, I think they'll be able to identify it in you and help push you to growth. And then in terms of what they'll be to you, we have got this owl card, we have got intuition, and we have also got patience. So I think this is a relationship with that patience card of great, I just heard timing, and obviously we've got this clock in the center, divine timing. I think you both came into each other's lives at the exact moment that you needed one another. And whether that's as a kind of spiritual crutch is what I'm hearing, but I think both people are this owl. And these white owls are treasures and gifts to one another. And like I said at the beginning, this light worker energy, this gifted individual. I think both of you are these healers in a lot of way. And I mean, we've got the three-headed snake, so you know, there's this kind of this ability for both of you to have different ways of approaching different perspectives of the world and your own healing journeys, but both can learn from one another and grow from one another. And I think it's all about having patience with them, and that allows you to have patience for yourself, that you realize that to support anyone's growth, and especially your own growth, you need that patience. Things are going to unwind and unfurl, and I think it's a connection which really helps you tune into your own body, into your own spiritual body and your higher awareness through this intuition, using your instincts of care and healing for another person allows you to do that for yourself in return. So that's what I mean about this relationship, which is reciprocated and bends both ways. There's mutual gain for both people here, but the owl is also this clairvoyant, clear-seeing, abundant creature. So I feel like this person can see you clearly, can see who you are and understand you on that intuitive level. Maybe not like having to say anything, or there's just this real deep knowing, almost this kind of like psychic connection or link between you, because I think there is that similarity in so many ways, but there's just this intuitive pull towards one another, something. And I think your connection is that kind of just, there's a whole spring of kind of depth here to this relationship, and transformation too, and the ability to see even through the darkness, so even through the sadness and pain, to be those crutches for one another, to be those people that hold each other accountable, but for your own wholeness and for your own treasure and for the things that you're going after. So it's not a it's not a codependent relationship. It's not that you need each other for your own happiness or your own growth, but you challenge each other in the best ways to be your best selves, and you empower each other by pushing yourselves, by being patient with one another, by intuitively, you know, growing and healing from those things, and looking to the future, to looking towards what it is that you want and those treasures that you see for yourselves in that future. So I feel like what they become to you is this kind of, maybe with this patience card as well, maybe the timing isn't always right, or maybe they almost take flight, is what I'm hearing for some people, away from your life quite a lot. Maybe they are a traveler in some ways, but I think and maybe go deliver their message to other people as well. If, like I said, maybe they are a counsellor or a healing practitioner or something, potentially they go out, and maybe they're not always within your vicinity a lot of the time. So maybe there's patience required within this relationship, because maybe always the timing feels off, but there's always this intuitive knowing that you'll always be there for one another, and the lessons that you have learnt from one another are things that will always serve you throughout your life and for your growth moving forward. So I want to get some cards as well for what this person is bringing. And obviously I've said a few things based off of who they are to you and that energy, but we'll go with some tarot cards, and I've already shuffled some more oracle cards for you, so we'll shuffle these tarot on camera. Okay. So for pile 1 spirit, what is this person bringing to their lives? So we have got the 3 of Pentacles, we have got the Fool, we have got the Five of Cups. We have got the Two of Cups. And we have got the Three of Cups. And then on the back, we have got the Knight of Swords too. Okay, so, oh, sorry, I'll also get your, I got so excited then. I was like, I just want to dive straight into this. So I will get your other oracle cards too. So we have New Beginnings, 1, right underneath the Fool as well. And we've got Scorpio, I Transform. And then we've also got Relationship Change as well, number 56. So I think it's so interesting that straight where the healer energy was, we have got the Five of Cups, which is this very much what we were talking about, this loss of pleasure, this sadness, this grief of these emotional scars, emotional wounds that may have not been healed. And this, I think, is potentially both of you. So maybe at that time when this person comes into your life, potentially there is a loss of pleasure that you may have experienced in some ways. And grief is a scale, so it's not a step-by-step program. You could be in the anger, in the denial stage, in bargaining, in acceptance, but then going back and forth and flitting. And it's one of those things, like I was saying, that you carry as a scar on your body. You have to heal and tend to the wound, and know that with that love and care and attention and bringing that energy to that and allowing every emotion to breathe during this time, during that time when you're feeling that grief, that's when it starts to heal, when you pay it that love and attention. And it's always going to be there, that wound, but it's going to be a scar that doesn't rule you. It doesn't stop you from moving forward, but it teaches you how to grow. So if you get a pizza, like an oven burn from getting a pizza out the oven, it's not going to stop you having pizza again, but you're going to be slower to get the pizza out, or you're going to wear oven gloves. And it's one of those things, it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience for growth. And I think this person is there. And I think, like I was saying, I think they are too, going through this grief. So maybe it's even in a shared, like, grief counselling in some way. This one thing I'm hearing particularly for some people, but this may not apply for everyone, is if there is that kind of loss. We've got New Beginnings, and Scorpio as well is linked to death sometimes. So I'm not saying it not for everyone. It may not be physical death, but there may be that kind of feeling of loss, that initial grief, and maybe there was a need for a support system in some way. And like I said, this may not be for everyone, a very specific group of people, but there is that potential unity and community feeling around, and this kind of feeling of relationship change within yourself as well to what it is, that emotional grief that you may be experiencing and feeling. But I think ultimately this person is there to tend to their wounds, in turn recognizes that within you, and you recognize that within them. And I think both people with this Three of Pentacles card become a bit of a team to one another. And there's this kind of putting in and showing up in a practical way every day to work towards what it is that they want, the commitment towards the growth that they see for themselves. And this does feel like, with the Fool, this new beginning, this new phase, this new chapter, this reinvention, this rebirth. And Scorpio is all about that transformation, like I said, and that comes from a death. So it may be a death of self, a death of a way of the ego's plan, and like I was saying, with that healer energy of transforming that energy and birthing it into something new, leaping into a new phase that may seem scary. There may be fear around it, stepping into that unknown space, into the mysterious, especially with the intuition and also the owl, potentially psychic things may open up for some people. Maybe that spiritual transformation, maybe there's a deeper connection to the divine and spirit if that is something that you explore within yourself, but that may not be for everyone. But either way, I feel like there is this intuitive knowing that there is a next chapter, there is a next thing coming about. And I think the pain from the past as well, and for some people I think this could even be a romantic connection in some way, because I was saying all about karmic relationships, and with this relationship change down here, and we've got the Two of Cups, which is the love card, which is reciprocation, but it's also the card of soulmates. And with the Three of Cups as well, this is all about soul tribe connections, that community feel. So there is this support and this renewal of energy. And where there has been fear or loss or anxiety, when love is present, that love, that healing energy, that harmony, fear can't live there. So that's where that healing, I think, comes in, that new healing, like filling up the stagnant energy, the cups which feel empty with new possibility, new hope. And I think this is what this person really brings, is this new hope. And also this, with this Three of Pentacles, again, this teamwork, that there are mountains out there, life has ebbs and flows, but you've got to take those risks, you've got to follow your instincts, act on those. And if you're seen as the other or the wild card, that says more about other people than that does about you. And I think this relationship is one that transforms both people, potentially in different ways, but I feel like there are these new beginnings and these new ways of being for both, and you're both able to support, even if they are different paths, support each other over the mountains. And there's that kind of teamwork makes the dream work kind of scenario, but it does feel like a partnership, that you're both like, even if you're doing separate things, you're like, we are going to show up for one another. We are going to challenge each other in the best way. We're emotionally going to be each other's support and be there for one another. And in all the celebrations that come about, all the healing, all of the solace, all the joy, being able to be that person for that other, to be there emotionally and to help fill up. And with that relationship change, maybe that's opening up to love after that pain, after that sorrow, whatever that loss of pleasure is, being able to let that guard down, allow new energy, that new phase to come in and really transform you both. And with this Knight of Swords here, obviously with the owl earlier we had air sign, so potentially this person could be an air sign, a Libra, Gemini, or I had the other one on the tip of my tongue, Aquarius. And I was thinking Capricorn, but I don't know why, because Capricorn is an earth sign, but there we go. But Knight of Swords, I feel like sometimes potentially in communication or thoughts and stuff like that, potentially with this Knight of Swords, I think it allows both of you to speak your truth, to have someone that is emotionally there for you, so will kind of hear whatever thoughts come to your mind. And I think there's great bravery in that, in opening up your truth and kind of letting that guard down in a lot of ways. And I think there is an expansion of mental energy for both people. But with this Knight of Swords kind of running away in some respects, I feel like emotionally, I think both there's healing and then there's solace and all of these things. But I think in terms of thoughts, potentially sometimes it may feel like you bulldoze over one another, that maybe there's this runner chaser kind of vibe within here, and I don't think that's anything to do with the emotions. I think that's more to do with the perspectives, like I was talking about how maybe you see things or your different paths. Maybe it throws you both into your head again, because this is, I think, a very intuitive, karmic and emotional connection, one that helps heal those things emotionally. And I think that might be the source of that grief. And I think in terms of whenever you're feeling, then your mind can kind of try and take over the reins a bit. And I think both people have that mind heart kind of battle a lot of the times, because it's trusting those instincts, trusting that, but your thoughts come up and fears and anxiety scream, intuition whispers. So sometimes those thoughts for both people, I think, can maybe scream, and maybe it feels like there's that need to run away, to escape. But I think that's where the patience card comes in as well, and that's why I knew it was at the top staring at me. It was going to come back for some reason. There's patience required, and I think there's that learning of identifying when you're allowing those thoughts to rule you and rule your decisions, as opposed to feeling it. Like, see feelingly is what I'm hearing. And with that owl, it was all about clear seeing, that clairvoyance. And I think there will be great clarity, but those thoughts are always going to try and creep up. And I think this is a new beginning and relationship change within yourself, that self-transformation as well, of identifying the thoughts when they come up, and the difference between those thoughts and your intuition, and where your intuition and your instincts are leading you, and that feeling of connection, as opposed to that fear and anxiety, which lends itself to the grief of protection. Like I was saying, those kind of protection mechanisms that our body comes up with to try and keep us out of danger, to keep us out of the unknown. But I think this relationship, and I think that's where the challenge is, and maybe where that push and pull comes from, is going to ask both of you to take those leap of faiths, to step into your kind of spiritual path in a lot of ways, and into a new beginning, a new phase. And that can feel like can feel like you're out of your comfort zone and a really scary place in some ways, but it's necessary for the growth and the changes and the transformations that are to come about in a lot of ways. And I do feel like I'm hearing Side by Side, which is a song from the musical Company, and as the song would suggest, it's all about having that community side by side to you. And it's like, isn't it warm, isn't it cozy side by side? And I think it's a partnership to, like I said, show up for one another, show up for yourselves, and to grow, to learn and grow and launch into a new beginning. Even if the paths are different, it's like having a training buddy or something like that. But this is almost a spiritual training buddy in some ways, of we're going to both go for our own path. Or maybe it's not even spiritual, maybe if it's just physical, manifest goals and ambitions, it may just be in that practical sense that this person is here to push you and you them, all through that loving space. And maybe it's a space which feels quite disconcerting for you, or may feel like in the past you might have suffered grief from chasing things that your heart wasn't properly in, or you felt like you weren't on the path necessarily, or you were pushed onto a path, and maybe you didn't feel like you had that team, that support network behind you, which may have resulted potentially in that loss of pleasure. So this is almost a kind of rewiring of, actually, I can be greedy and go after those goals and ambitions that I want. I can think big. And at the moment, it's the full moon in Aries as time of recording, as I'm recording this, and about dreaming bigger and be asking exactly what it is that you want, those manifestations, and showing up for them. And I think And when I said greed, it's not in that way of accumulating money, everything like that, and falling to the kind of devil illusion in some way. It's not about that. It's about going after your heart's truest desires, which I think this connection opens you up to and heals that relationship with the ego. Like, what is the ego's plan and what is your highest spiritual plan? What is going to help heal you and help you rise above that? What do you feel that you are aligning to that higher purpose? And I think this is a track which feels like a new beginning, a new path, and this relationship almost opens it up to you. Maybe if, like I said at the beginning, you may even feel that intuitive pull to what it is already before me saying anything. But with that healer card, and I said at the beginning, maybe they are walking away or they feel this sadness, and potentially you are there to help heal them. Potentially it's for you to be this advisor or spiritual counselor, or maybe it's something that you want to help humanity in some way. Or if that is not something that you see for yourself, but there is a path that you've always been interested in or something like that, potentially this is your new beginning onto it. And it all comes from, like I said, from being there for someone else and supporting someone else and having patience with them. You learn to have that patience with yourself, and you realize that you are also worthy of that love and support that you extend to other people. So I really feel like it's a beautiful relationship and connection for both parties, and like I said, karmically linked, but full of this renewal, this emotional ability to kind of really drink deeply as much as you can from this harmony, from this healing waters, this reassurance in one another. So I want to get some more cards for you on the table. Just some last thoughts from Spirit. So Spirit, what else does pile 1 need to know? What else does pile 1 need to know? Okay. So we have dream, build castles in the sky. We have joy, your inner child is here to play. And we've got love, allow it to pour in and out of you. So with that dream card, that build castles in the sky, like I was saying, that's the energy of that dreams and accomplishments, like your manifestations, what it is that you want. Think bigger. And like I said, at the time of recording, we're in a full moon in Aries, and I think it is that thing of there's things that you want, the structures that you want within your life, those castles, as it were, those things that feel fantastical to you. Find joy in those and find love in what it is. And maybe this is when you meet this person, but why not start right now? Why not start transforming and knowing that your goalposts can always change. The things that you want, it's not set in stone. You can change those goalposts around based on how you feel, and just find joy in allowing your inner child to play. And through your inner child, maybe that's talking to your spirit guides, talking to spirit, asking for guidance of, is this what I should be doing? Sometimes I like to play a game with the universe. My sign personally is a bee, but my sister's is a dolphin. And I think I've said this before on a YouTube video, so I'm sorry if you're with that pile. But when I ask for a sign from spirit, I ask for a bee. So I'll say, you know, am I on the right path? Or if I've got a decision, I'll say, show me a bee if this. And my sister, hers is a dolphin. And we were in a store and I was like, there's your dolphin. And my sister turned around to me and she was like, no, that's a whale. And I was like, no, it's a dolphin. But sometimes you're not looking for your sign. And so maybe this is your opportunity to find a sign, no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be an animal. It could be a flower. It could be a symbol. And ask the spirit, play with your intuition and with that relationship with your higher self. but be wild, be crazy about what it is that maybe you want, and show up for that. But find the joy in the world of looking out for signs, for connecting with spirit potentially in a lot of ways, but allowing that creativity to flow and being curious about everything. And when with this love card, allow it to pour in and out of you. This, I think, is really speaking of this Two of Cups in a lot of ways as well, but about this love and directing it into your center as well, allowing you to feel the love of other people around you, allowing the love of new connections and old connections, new ideas, new things, and new people to pour into your life. And we also then extend that to others and find that community. This is very much these two cards with that Two of Cups and Three of Cups energy of inviting in the new experiences, the new opportunities for emotional growth. And in turn, when we feel that alignment and we feel that wholeness and we feel like we are full up, we then extend it and we become these radiant, loving beings. And not saying that you're not that already, but you become even more aligned to that energy of love and happiness. And therefore, when those new beginnings come about, you feel that that kind of center, and you don't feel like you can be thrown off kilter by those thoughts, because like I said, when love is present, fear and anxiety, it can't live there. And these are also the moon is present in almost all of these cards, and like I said, it's full moon at the moment, so maybe watching the moon phases too, maybe around manifesting as well, but also maybe in terms of nighttime could be quite significant for you at the moment. Maybe rituals before you go to bed, maybe that's manifestations, maybe that's a new bedtime ritual or something like that. But I think there's just this deep intuitive, almost spiritual nature opening up for you, and spirit is almost calling for you and the universe to show that it's there supporting you. I think night and day, but I think maybe even pay attention to your dreams, because dreams are messages as well. So potentially you've been having weird dreams, or you will be around this time, and make sure you pay attention to them. Look at the symbols within the dreams, just like I said with the dolphin sign that my sister kept ignoring over. Maybe with this dream, pay attention to those symbols, look up those symbols, and through that act of love, decode those messages. Because if you remember your dreams, if you remember vivid dreams, or you have reoccurring, usually it is a message for you. And Scorpio as well, linked to Pluto, can signify that as well. So my glorious friends of pile 1, I'm going to leave this reading here for you guys today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I absolutely loved reading your cards. If you'd like to see me again, please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I really hope to see you guys there. Bye. Hi lovely friends of pile 2. So if you picked the Moss Agate Moon and the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, then this reading is going to be for you. So firstly, I'm going to shuffle, well, I'm not going to shuffle, I've already shuffled your oracle cards. Sorry, I am going to lay down your oracle cards for who this person is. So firstly, we have got the Sustainer, and who this person is going to be when they first enter your lives, or how you'll see them, what their energy is like. We have got the Swan card, we have got Strength, and we have also got Blossoming Abundance too. And then over here, we've got the energy of what they will become to you, or the lesson that they have for you, and their energy then. We've got Frog, we have got Caution, and we've also got Strategy in reverse. So this is super interesting. So we've got 2 water sign placements. So they could be a water sign, so a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces. They don't necessarily have to have those placements or be those. This is the kind of energy that they're getting, and this is obviously water energy, which from Frog and also from Sustainer, it's natural cycles is what I'm hearing a lot of, and the kind of natural flow, the divine cycles of the universe in some way. And water is obviously healing and rejuvenating. In terms of tarot, there's emotional opportunities and experiences that open us up. But there's a lot of creativity within this person too. So I want to start off with Swan first, so who they'll be when you first see them. And Swan is this really kind of enigmatic creature, very creative, with infinite power and with this strength. I really feel like a strength of the strength and pillar of the community is what I'm hearing specifically. So this person artistically, potentially you're an artist, maybe you create things, you could be I mean, there's so many different types of artists, a musician, you could be a painter, you could be an actor, a writer. There is just this, whatever way that you channel your creativity, even if it's as a hobby, or maybe if it's potentially as more, I feel like this person is this kind of glistening example, or potentially even someone people look up to within that industry. And there's this kind of grace and poise and elegance and this kind of majesty about them. There is this effortless creativity and almost this kind of sensitive like glow that they have around them, this like mysticism which just captivates people. And I think whatever they are creating, whoever, I'm hearing strength of ideas, that they have these brilliant kind of ideas that kind of shape, and with the Sustainer card, kind of mold and blend. And I think they are someone whose work constantly may even go unrecognized, maybe within their field. Potentially they've got this name maybe within their field, but maybe other people don't necessarily know of them. So maybe you have to be in that particular niche to know who they are. But with the Sustainer card, I think they are someone who is constantly working, constantly evolving, kind of part of the fabric, as it were, with that pillar of the community. Someone who may even go unnoticed. So maybe even if it is in the creative industries, for instance, if it's in theatre, maybe it's the wardrobe or costume department, but like the pillar that has to be there, or, you know, producers, operational, someone who really helps uphold maybe even other people's artistic endeavours and keeps people sustained and going. And this person, because they are so integral to the fabric, they ensure this blossoming abundance from the ground up. They are almost that soil in which everyone can grow, but they can almost burn themselves out in some ways, because they may not even sustain themselves. If they're a giver in this way, they may kind of give so much that they forget to fill themselves up. And obviously, if you don't fill up your own vessel, if you don't fill yourself up first emotionally, making sure that you're aligned and healthy and happy, then it's harder to extend that to other people and you lose steam. So I feel like this person is someone who has this elegant power, who calls people for attention, who has this maybe their own inner vision as well, but at the moment is sustaining other people. And like I said, it's really noble. It's an amazing thing to be a support, to be a nourishment for other people, but they may even forget themselves in the process. So I think when you first meet them, you'll be captivated by that energy, by their own creativity, and almost it's like what I just heard, it's almost like in theatre, like walking out on the stage, this is someone who maybe you've almost built up this idea in your head of who they are, and it's almost like everything aligning in that way, almost like taking aback, wow, this is actually this person, they are here in the flesh. So I do feel like you'll know of this person in some way before you see them. You would have heard their name at least, or even if it's like a new job or something, if it's not within your industry or whatever, it may be someone that you heard their name being battered around in meetings or something like that, and everyone's like, oh, that Swan from wherever, they are, they keep the whole ship afloat. That's what I feel like would be said about them in so many ways. So I feel like there's almost this enigma and mystery to this person already. Before you even meet them, there's this grace and there's this poise built up by what other people say. So it may feel quite intimidating for you meeting this person, but I think their energy is that of warmth and abundance, that they make you feel supported, and they feel like they give you strength in your ideas, whatever it is, and your input. They want to hear all of that, no matter what their experience, no matter what they've seen or what level they're on. They're there to help kind of mold people, is what I'm hearing, or to make it happen in a lot of ways, to create the foundation for success. But then how they kind of become to you, or their energy later on down the line. We've got frog, caution, and we've got strategy in reverse. So I feel like this is Spirit's way of saying that this does not take away from the power of this person or who this person is, but they may need to take breaks a lot of the time, or maybe there's a difference between sustaining and being a sustainer to maintaining. And I feel like maybe they are maintaining things, kind of trying to contain everything there, and this person may get quite agitated or quite snappy in some ways, or may just feel like they emotionally are running low and that they are depleted in some way, like running on empty, because they are so often helping shape and mold. And maybe they are overworked and they feel trapped or tired. And this is almost the caution that Spirit, and maybe they serve as a lesson to you of how the difference between being a sustainer and being a maintainer. And I think the maintaining aspect is, you know, running yourself to the ground, throwing yourself in and losing all sense of yourself and your own needs and putting everything else before yourself. Whereas I think the sustaining is making sure that you're sustained, making sure that you have everything you need in order to help and nurture other people, but keeping those boundaries up and keeping that safety net up. And I think there's that kind of, maybe they even have to like take time off, is what I'm hearing with this strategy in reverse. Or maybe they decide they have to step away from this career or this industry in some way and kind of reorganize and re-strategize what it is that they want. And I feel like this person is here as a lesson to you of, because I think you yourself are, I'm hearing this creative person, this person who wants to certainly forge in this career and find your own beat, find your own way of doing things, bring that new fresh perspective. And I think with this frog card, they need a lot of revitalization, a lot of cleansing, a lot of healing, and that time to go back to themselves, to go back to their emotional roots, because the frog is of water and land. And with this water, like I was saying, this emotional renewal and this healing energy that we get from water, that cycle, if you spend too much time on land, as it were, and not enough time in your unconscious or in your emotional needs, you can start to lose yourself, lose part of your identity, because you are of the water with this frog card. And so I think if you see a lot of yourself in this swan or within this career, I think this person serves as an example of how you need to take those breaks. And I don't think their energy is a warning sign that you shouldn't be near this person or anything like that, like they're an emotional drain. I don't get that energy. I get more that they are not as fortified as you, or a spirit is calling you to be, in order to have those boundaries for your creativity to flow on top of that. And I think they still have that enthusiasm for life and that enthusiasm to create and to mold other people and to celebrate life in all of its colour and decoration, as you do. And like I said, that's why I don't think they're an emotional energy drain in any way or anything. But I think there's this feeling of they can't give anything more of themselves at points, like they come up against a brick wall where they're running on nothing. They've not got that energy, or they lose their vision. They lose what it is, and that connection to self. Because when we get so wrapped up in work and putting all our hours and our time into work, it may be an industry that we love, it may be something that we love doing, but when we get so caught up in the bogged down, there's more things, and you make more excuses for things that come up, like, okay, it's not exactly what I thought I was doing, but you know, I'm in the industry, I'm around people, or I'm so close to what it is that I want to be doing. And there's that beauty in like that shared kind of worker bee instinct of hard work, but sometimes you actually realize that, oh, I've actually stepped quite far away from where it was I actually wanted to be, and now I may not even be on a ladder that I want to climb. Potentially I'm on a ladder which is next to a ladder that I wanted to climb, but I've sidestepped, and actually this isn't where it is that I wanted to go. So I think this person is an example for you of how to keep connected to your unconscious, keep connected to your emotional vision and your inner vision, and not to allow the kind of worker bee mentality of, okay, yes, I'm part of the big picture. If your dream and aspiration is to be at the forefront, is to be this artist, to be this creator, and to have your vision seen, of course you've got to do your grind. Of course you've got to you know, be involved and be part of the team, especially when you're starting in some ways. But keep to who you are at your core. Keep your vision at your core of where it is that you want to be. And if something isn't sitting right, or if you feel like you're starting to tread on a path which wasn't what you intended, kind of hold yourself accountable for that and stop and say, okay, am I just chasing the different emotional opportunities in front of me, or is this actually what my emotional desire is right at this moment in time? So I've kind of gone into what this person is bringing into your life already, but I wanted to get those cards of how they'll be, and that's obviously just come out from there. So let's shuffle your tarot, and we'll get some more cards for what this person is bringing into your life. And I've got a couple of oracle cards freshly shuffled for that too. This is the first time that I'm using this deck, so I hope you guys like it. I love it already. So let's have a look-see. So Spirit, for pile 2, what is this person bringing into their lives? Okay. Okay. Ooh. So we've got the 4 of Wands in reverse, we've got the Warrior of Pentacles, we've got the 10 of Cups, we have got the 5 of Pentacles, and we have got Revolution as well, and we've also got the 10 of Swords. This is super interesting. Okay, and then in terms of oracle cards, we have creativity, number 3, we have got 5th house creativity, and we have got music. So as you can see, the creativity theme, this from the Swan, especially this kind of visionary and artist, has really worked all the way through. And maybe music is something that you're pursuing, or maybe it's just the music of life is what I have for some people. I said this in another reading and I was like, oh, that's so cheesy, so cheesy, but I love it. Like that, like the cascades and the falls and the ebbs and the flows, it's beautiful. But that is like the creativity of life and this artistry. And I think this person, what they're bringing to your life, and this is why I said it was so interesting, is I want to talk about revolution first, this tower feeling. And I feel like they are someone who's presence in your life causes this change, causes this eruption within yourself. And I think it may feel like you, like kind of what I was talking about, the kind of towers of oppression and the illusion that we make for ourselves, those ladders that we think we want to climb and everything. I think this person shows as an example, maybe it's that you join a job or something like that, or this person comes into your work or things like that, or maybe you start working together on a project. And I think this person is almost this like lightning bolt, this kind of revelation brought by the divine, brought by spirit to you in order to break down what was being built. And this can feel core shattering and scary, but it opens way for revelation. And I think there's a lot to be reflected within what energy I was talking about, as in, I think you are someone with these real deep emotional, creative, beautiful dreams in terms of this 10 of Cups, wanting this happy community, wanting this vitality of creativity to flow through every aspect, to share your song, to share your truest voice with the world, your most authentic self, and to have that in celebration and abundance with other people, to like share the music, your truest self, your voice, what it is that your internal voice is telling you to go for, that intuition, that instinct, to bring that out into the world in a practical way. And with this Warrior of Pentacles, your goal for that emotional truth and that emotional connectivity to being in this community, to feeling a part of this community, to uplift the community in a lot of ways through creativity. Because I mean, the arts and theatre has been in our world, in our structure from the dawn of time, from telling stories. So whichever way that you bring that about, it's about connecting people, and it's something that has sustained and lived through famine, war, everything, total destruction. It's something that will always live on because humanity needs it, and that uplifts other people and empowers people. And I think that whichever way that blossoms for you, that I think is always in your GPS for where you want to go. That is the sight you almost see for yourself. That path is to bring people together and to feel that love and happiness and that alignment there. And so I feel like this person, what they bring to your life is still that sense of spirit and that sense of tenacity and dedication. But I feel like it almost shuts a door on the ladder, or the way in which you thought that you were almost going to climb in that way. And what I mean by that is, I think with this Four of Wands, I think you almost saw a lot of yourself within this person, and you saw this kind of like-mindedness and maybe exactly what it is, the path that you wanted to go, in this celebration and this joy and all of these things, this kind of like-minded sanctuary of people. But actually, I think in whichever way it came about, it actually didn't sit right, maybe emotionally, and maybe your thoughts, or maybe the thoughts of, I don't feel aligned to be, I don't feel as creative as I can be, I don't feel as creatively in control or emotionally like I can show my true heart in a lot of ways. I feel like there is a lot of kind of resistance or fears and anxieties put onto you through this Ten of Swords, that revolution is needed through. And I think actually the system in which maybe you go into, like I said, maybe if this is a job or a project, you actually end up closing the door to it in some way. And with that Five of Pentacles energy, in order to find your path and the opportunities for you, sometimes we've got to close doors. And I feel like maybe this is closing the door to known security in some way, to open you up to new opportunity. And there may be the initial pangs of, like I said, this kind of change, this core shattering change, which kind of bursts through you, where it feels like things are crumbling away. But this opens the way, like I said, for revelation, but also for revolution, in order to upturn your life and to refocus what it is that you want. So potentially this person is a key for you to see of what not to do, of the path of how not to achieve this thing, because they themselves got burnt out. They themselves maybe didn't get treated in the way that you want to be treated or respected, because they weren't sustaining themselves enough. And so I think it almost shows you that you don't need other people to help you on this way, in whichever way you're creating, that you can find your own happiness and you can be your source of happiness by showing up every single day and being committed to. So it may feel like a door in your face or an opportunity closed to what you thought, what your ego's plan thought that it was building. Your foundations of who you are through this revolution are still going to be there. Your core of being a creative and listening to your natural music and all of those things are still there. But it's time to unpick the swords, the thinking of what other people were almost telling you, their agendas being pushed, or what you've been told, that narrative, maybe those old stories, to rewire those things and really burst free from that and reinvent yourself in a new way, and to really be the innovator that you see for yourself in so many ways, and to find your own form of celebration. It's almost like I'm just really hearing that you can be your own independent self, and you are your own independent self, you are your own wholeness, but you don't need anyone to open the door for you. And maybe it's seeing how this person is treated, or this person in your life, how they maintain things and how they're not actually sustaining themselves for the future, that almost tells you, actually, no, I'm going to close the door on this. I'm going to, and it may feel like you're out in the cold, or that you don't really know where to go for some time, but it helps you refocus on that GPS for your manifestations, for your goals, for your ambitions, and helps you align to your emotional purpose, instead of getting caught up in the thoughts of other people, situations, things that you can't seemingly control. This is you actually saying, I'm not going to allow those things, even though they're still there, even though they're still a part of the fabric of the universe and cycles, even if they're all there, I'm going to rise up above them and not allow them to rule me. I'm not going to play by the rules of their games. I'm playing my own thing. And it's almost you creating, as a creative person, a new path for yourself, a new identity for yourself in this arena in some way. And this is all, the fifth house is linked to childhood as well, and maybe it's tapping into your inner child's voice and into your intuition in a lot of ways. And I think there's this great sense of self-expression that this has allowed you to break down the what ifs of, what if I climbed this ladder, of what if I tried to do things this way, or play by the rules of someone else's game. I'm feeling very musical today, especially within this pile. So maybe this is a sign for you guys, but there's this great sense of independence and self, and rising up and revolting against almost the systems of oppressions, or the things that you thought, and almost crumbling that down and not being afraid of the unknown, of that thing. And with the Four of Wands in reverse, like the people that we almost imagined ourselves being with, the people that we imagined would fuel our passions and help ignite us in some way, actually, if we feel sustained, and if we emotionally feel like we are growing and we are emotionally aligned to our happiness, even if it's people that don't necessarily understand our path and understand our passions and our intuition and where our creativity stems from, if we have that emotional support, and even if this is just family, friends, chosen family, people in our lives who we know on that emotional level will always be there and we love deeply, it doesn't matter almost what the people within our industry think of us, or what the people with, you know, that we admire think as well. Actually, to be a groundbreaker, to be someone who is a creative, is to go into that to our own unknown depths. And everybody is different and has different gifts and has a different way of expressing themselves. And actually, I think it's about embracing your path and your personal happiness, and knowing that you don't need the systems that maybe other people do need to support this growth. You have everything you could ever have, want, and need already inside of you. And actually, all you need is to feel emotionally aligned and that emotional sense of community. And actually, the people in your life, your family, your friends, your extended family, your chosen family, can be those people for you. You don't need the kind of admiration. It's great to have. You don't need the admiration of your peers in a lot of ways. But this is really, really interesting energy in terms of not everyone is going to understand your path. Not everyone understands what you are meant for. But if you feel it, if you intuitively feel your pull, and you are expressing yourself in the way that brings colour and music to your life, then that's all that really matters. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks or does, and it doesn't matter what path they have trod. You know, you create your own way. I'm hearing your own wayfinder, as in like Moana, that, you know, you are you learn, you grow. You're not who your ancestors were. You have that support network of spirit, of the universe, of your guides, everyone behind you, rallying behind you, wanting you to find your own way, to find your own path. And that's okay that your path is not meant for everybody else. So I think this person and the beautiful lesson and what they bring to your life is actually this realization, is that not everyone and everything is for you. And that is okay. And maybe those thoughts, they really hurt for some time. And it feels jarring to be confronted with that feeling. But you have your sense of self. You have the strength within yourself. And creativity is linked to Leo, the 5th house. And that's the strength card linked in our major arcana. And you know, that is all to do with that individuality, that self-confidence, but also the strength of being vulnerable with your truest self and nurturing that unconscious thing within you, and trusting that you don't need to be the loudest person in the room. You don't need to say it how everyone else says it or package it in the way that they do. Actually, your vulnerability is a proof of your strength, and it shows how, and it speaks volumes to others around you. And that's what people come on board the journey for, is with that courageous and strong individual that will stand up for themselves and who always goes for what they believe in, not the path that everyone thinks that they're destined for. Like at the end of Moana, you know, spoilers, if you haven't seen it yet, stop this video. What are you still doing here? Go and watch it, please. But, you know, okay, spoilers. You know, everyone ends up following her, the community, and they find their own way, and they become, you know, their community grows and expands. And I think this is very much in terms of Moana's journey, you traveling beyond the reef, but traveling beyond what everyone thinks that you can do, or what they currently see within the industry, or wherever you are in this creative expansion. And your vision, maybe it feels a bit like a prophet in some ways, that you've been given this vision, or you can see exactly what's needed, of where it needs to go. And there's frustration when other people won't open their eyes, but know that your sense of self and, you know, your artistry will transcend, and it will bring the right people to you at the right time. But this is your almost solo mission, is what I'm hearing at the moment. And with the Warrior of Pentacles, we could have earth signs within this pile. So maybe you're an earth sign, maybe you're a Taurus, a Capricorn, or a Virgo, or maybe you have those placements. But yes, you don't necessarily have to, but I see this great tenacity and this hard work. And I wanted to leave you on, in terms of this 5th house creativity, the quote that was at the front of it was by Pablo Picasso. And I feel like this is what I need to read. Every child is an artist. The problem is staying an artist when you grow up. And I think it's almost this whole pile and this whole thing has been connecting you back to your roots, the core of who you are. And whenever you went into the industry, or whenever you went into this career path where maybe you met this person, or whichever project you were on, remember that innocence of your dreams as a child, or when you first started out as like a novice, or when you were first playing and you allowed yourself to grow and you didn't bog yourself down with the path of where you needed to be. Like, remember that innocence and that faith, and what it was, your goals and ambitions, no matter how big, no matter how silly they seemed, what were they? And the hard thing is when being an adult and making these decisions, or knowing that we have to sustain ourselves through work, we have to do these things, is when we lose that, when we climb ladders we don't want to, and we lose the ladder that it is we actually want to climb. So I want to get you guys some advice cards just to round this off as well. So Spirit, what else do you want to say to my lovely friends of pile 2? Okay, so we have patience, long road ahead, reward awaits. So I think with this Warrior of Pentacles, like I was saying, plugging into your emotional, but also your manifestation, your goal GPS of where it is that you want to go. There may be mountains, there may be things that you need to go through. It may feel like the road is long. There might be obstacles and barriers that you wish that weren't there, but the rewards that await you by following this higher path, and it is a higher path, it is your calling in a lot of ways, and it's something that if it emotionally sustains you, you will always show up for, because emotionally you feel aligned to it. And it's like, no matter what mountain is coming your way or going your way, like in front of you, you will get through it, and you will be guided if you listen to your intuition, your natural intuition and your creativity, and where that spark is leading you. Have patience and love for yourself, and know that you can go through this long road, and that reward is waiting. That open door is open for you already, and that's what Spirit is calling you to do. Things are not happening to you, they're happening for you, for your growth, to do the things that you need to do. And then we've got growth, overcoming limitations. So this is your time to dream big, to set those sights high, but also with that overcoming limitations, that's really that revolution card. Those things that are holding you down, or those things that pile on top of you, know that there's beauty in exactly where you are growing in a lot of ways. And like I was saying, you are constantly unfurling, you're constantly opening up to the natural cycles, but also this, with this rain, it's like this rejuvenation and this cleansing, like that frog card. Make sure that you nurture your own growth, that you are sustaining yourself, not maintaining yourself, that you are sustaining yourself with emotionally aligning to your happiness, but also to doing the things that you love, putting yourself first, so that you can then extend that to other people. And that's all about that growth. You've got to look within yourself, grow yourself first, meditate for yourself, hydrate, all of those things. Look after yourself, sustain your own self, so that you can extend that to other people and you can be that person. And mystery, secrets and hidden meanings. And I think, again, with this kind of intuition that is running through it, I think it's calling to the High Priestess card in a lot of ways, and these familiars. And I think maybe it feels like there's a lot of mystery or a lot of things, but at the moment, you may be getting messages, or you may be getting signs from the universe in a lot of ways, or maybe your internal voice, your inner voice, your higher consciousness is speaking to you in a lot of ways, or maybe your dreams as well if you don't keep a dream journal, or maybe there's things to be decoded if you're getting reoccurring dreams. Look at the symbols, look at the signs, and maybe the universe is already giving you direction, and maybe you just need to listen, to attune to that, and to see the magic in the mystery of things unfolding, but also the mystery of you And I was talking all about the swan and how they may feel like an enigmatic being, and how people might be drawn to their mystery and who they are because they delve into their unconscious, or they create things. And people find that mysterious when you create things, or when you speak things into existence, or when you look at the secrets within your own unconscious, that untapped potential. And that's the realm, that moon realm of the artist, of traveling into the depths and to bring out those things which unite humanity. And I think you you are chosen for this path for a reason, and Spirit would not have put you onto this path if you couldn't achieve what exactly it is that you were supposed to. Everyone is enthralled by mystery. Everyone wants to uncover mystery. Everyone wants to understand it. So if people don't understand you yet, that is fine. You have time to unfurl the mystery, time to find your own self-expression and extend that out to other people so that they will then understand themselves too. And remember, you're connecting to humanity as a whole, and you're tapping into that, into their deeper selves as well as your own. And when you are a reflection, when you have that strength, when you are vulnerable and showing your true hand, other people will do that too. And I'm really being called to say everything you could ever have, want and need is already inside you. Universe is guiding you, Spirit is within you, your higher consciousness, and it's happening for you for a reason. So trust your path, trust what you are being called to do. So my glorious friend of pile 2, thank you so much for taking the time to watch and allowing me to read your cards. I absolutely loved it. If you'd like to see me again, please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I really hope to see you again soon. Sending so much love. Bye. Hi lovely friends of pile 3. So if you picked the Transient Light Tarot deck and the Sunstone, then this reading is going to be for you, Petit Falou. If you are eating a Petit Falou now, enjoy it, thank you, or any kind of yogurt. So let's stop being silly and get into the reading. So we are looking at who is coming into your life and what are they bringing. So firstly, we're going to look at who this person is through some oracle cards. So firstly, we have the Orphan, and in terms of when you meet this person, what their energy is going to be like, what you may think of them, we have got Nightingale, we have also got Happiness, and we've also got Caring Connections too. And then in terms of what your relationship will deepen to, or what this connection, the energy of it a little bit later on down the line, we have got Elephant, we have got Passion, and we've also got Journey. So we're going to look at what they're bringing in a bit, but some elements of that may come up in this initial part of who they are, and because it's who they are to you as well, so it's probably going to bring up a little bit of both in this question too. So we have got the Orphan firstly. So what I'm hearing for this card specifically for some people is that this could be a person that maybe was long lost or abandoned in your mind from when you were a child. Maybe it's going back towards your roots in some way. Maybe it's someone that you knew when you were a child who brought out that like childlike joy in a lot of ways, but maybe you are still connected to in some way, because this is the time of connectivity. You know, we're the most connected we've ever been, but still there is great loneliness, and we may have people as distant friends on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, but we may not know those people. Like sometimes they're the orphan within us, like the inner child, the wound sort of thing of who we were, the magic of innocence and curiosity and youth, and having loads of friends and knowing everybody, and that kind of connectivity of being young, of having these groups of people, of finding your identity, of growing and learning, of all of those things that youth brings you, and that ability to talk to almost anyone and to anyone about anything at any time. So for some people, I feel like this could be a reconciliation of someone lost in some way, or it could be a reconnection to your child, like to your inner child for a lot of people. And this person is represented by the Orphan because I think they are almost a reflection of your inner child in a lot of ways, or maybe their energy is that of which you want to reconnect to, that magic and innocence of youth in a lot of ways. So there's kind of two parts, I feel like, to this reading. And firstly, we're going to look at the energy when you meet this person, or like I said, when you maybe reconnect and reconcile with this person. So we've got caring connections, happiness, and nightingale. So the caring connections, obviously, there's this kind of community feeling. There is this kind of innocence of love and happiness, bliss is what I'm hearing too. But this sweetness and this deep care and this, like I was saying, the orphan, wounded and abandoned, those parts of ourselves that maybe we closed up or is still reaching out for us, is asking us to access. So maybe if you feel like you've been closed off to love, or maybe been hurt in some way, maybe this is something that opens up and almost offers you to connect with it. But also, if this is someone that you've known from your past, maybe it feels like instantly you just fall back into your old rhythm, that you're both right back where you left off and being in that kind of childlike play and getting to know each other, but obviously as new people, because you have changed so much, which is why this person coming into your life feels like someone new, because there's so much to uncover, especially if you know of each other distantly, but not on a granular level, is what I'm hearing. But with this Nightingale card as well, I think there's this kind of fearless nature in which you can speak to one another. There's this, maybe you were really, really close when you were younger, but there's this ability to kind of just say exactly what you think, say exactly how you feel. And I think that's how they're going to come across to you, like saying their purest voice, really allowing it to speak from the heart and from their truth. Because I think there's this comfort, there's this familiarity between you both. And they're really able to sing like their truest song, their truest selves, and speak freely with that kindness. And almost like singing and music could be something that united you when you were young. Maybe you guys meet again at like a choir or something like that, like if you're, or a hobby or something that maybe you did when you were younger, and maybe this is kind of going back to your roots. Or for some people, I'm hearing this could be you going back to your hometown and maybe seeing this person again. But there's this kind of instant like throwback and feeling of being back where you were. And like I said, reconnecting to that orphan, reconnecting to the wounded child maybe within yourself, and what it is that you were striving for when you were young, that connectivity with other people, but also maybe that the kind of love. And like I said, if maybe you feel like you've felt blocked, or maybe through past hurts and experiences you kind of closed off that part, or you don't want to meet anyone in some ways, what I'm hearing for this particular group of people, maybe it's kind of taking refuge in the fact that everyone feels separated in some way from parts of themselves, and maybe that kind of that gift of what you want, giving that to other people. And maybe this opens like being able to share in this love and in this kind of like fast pitter-patter of this joy and this connection to being a child, where you love everything, where you go from extremes of passions. And maybe it's what's been rejected, or what you've been denied, or what you feel left abandoned you in past relationships. This kind of almost rekindles that feeling of belonging, of finding like someone who is like you, or who was like you, because obviously you've grown, you've learned, you've nurtured. But I feel like this person throws you back right into that innocence of like, maybe it's even like your first love for some people. Maybe maybe there's, you know, that kind of puppy love kind of feeling for some people. And there's great like memories either way, if this is in your childhood, of that care, that support, and you kind of know each other on such a deep level because you knew exactly what their favorite album was at that age, and like things that you may have forgotten about yourselves, they may be able to drudge up in you, and you can know that exactly in them. There's that great kind of fun and that feeling of like being grounded and being seen by someone who knows you quite deeply. Maybe not on the day-to-day now, like I was saying, maybe it's been some time, and I would suggest it's been some time because obviously we're looking at who is coming into your life, so this kind of resurgence, but there's still that twisted nature. Like your life may still be going round, but in some way, it's like the roots of the tree. Like people may grow separately and do their own thing, but like your roots will always be tangled in some ways, is what I'm hearing. But if this person is new, completely new, coming into your life, potentially there is just this feeling that it opens up and they might kind of just get you on that level. And I think there's still that kind of straight feeling of they understand exactly who I am, like to the core of my being, or because they're represented by the orphan too. And I think it speaks almost for both sides that maybe there's happiness in uniting with a part that's been lost within them. So maybe you and both them have gone through toxic or difficult emotional relationships in the past or something, and this opens you up and allows you to speak your truth and like be emotionally vulnerable, but speak from that heart, speak exactly what your mind and heart are telling you, and find happiness in almost recognizing that in someone else. And then what they become to you. So we've got elephant, we've got passion, and we've got journey. So journey for me feels like, well, kind of, I was saying like a journey back to your hometown or something like that, but I feel like this is full of adventure and a new face, but also a resurgence of passion for a lot of people, and unblocking the obstacles, because the elephant is a massive symbol for breaking down barriers and pushing past obstacles. And I think whatever felt blocked, whatever felt abandoned, or maybe you didn't even realize that within yourself quite how much maybe you feel like you had disconnected from your inner child, or whether that was in terms of emotions or relationships, how much if you did have a barrier up in some ways, or you felt abandoned but you didn't know that part, like I was saying, if it felt lost, maybe it's like discovering that again, and kind of connecting to it. And there's this play and this journey of kind of self-discovery, and whatever felt blocked up, there's this ability to push past those things, but realize as well that any obstacles that were in front of you were there for a reason, were there to redirect you onto this path. And I feel like this person becomes a pivotal moment almost, where passion is re-injected into your journey of your own self-discovery and your own fire, that this person, maybe in the way that they live their lives, or maybe it's just their presence, like their presence throws you back to, I think if you're reconciling and it's someone from your childhood, maybe it throws you back into, who was I when I was a child? What did I want? I felt this connection to the universe, or to my dreams and my goals and ambitions. How did I block that? How have I let things come up and stop me on that journey, on that path? Maybe it's highlighting that for yourself. Or if it feels like a doorway to love in some ways, or to breaking down those barriers, maybe it's injecting that passion and starting a new journey of kind of self-love and healing, and reconnecting with those parts, and realizing just because one person left you abandoned, or there are those emotional scars from previous relationships, doesn't mean that everybody is going to do that. It doesn't mean that everyone's love, like you have such a great capacity for love still, and can still embark on that journey, and it doesn't mean that it's over. You don't get one great love, is what I'm hearing from spirit. But I think there's just this unstoppable nature that comes in some way, that this is like a catalyst to reconnect, and almost reconnect to your higher path, or the path of love, whichever one it feels like maybe sits as I'm speaking, feels like, yeah, that's what I'm planning. Or if you are planning a trip back to your childhood, maybe it's that route. But I just feel like either way, there's this brilliant journey, and your intuition is going to be leading the way in a lot, in so much of this. And there is this kind of generosity and this love from this kind of elephant energy which they give off. Like I said, this kind of ability to bring kind of immense wisdom as well. So maybe they are able to guide you on the path in some way, or and maybe that's in love with this passion. Maybe their kind of passion ignites that within you, and you in them, so it feels like two like flames, like real, it could be even a twin flame relationship if you identify with that. But if you don't, please do not worry. But it feels like they're, because that's all to do with, you know, separation to grow, find your own personal growth, and then coming back together. But like I said, that may not be for everyone. If this is new, if this is a new connection, I think it just brings that vitality, brings that heat, and brings that into like your intuition and your instincts all bubbling back up to the surface, like that passion and that that kind of just do it energy, that thirst for life, that thirst for journeys and for going after dreams and ambitions. And if it's just someone who connects you back to your childhood, it's still that energy, it's still that finding that passion, that drive, what your core. And that all comes from the healing of the orphan. And I think this person, whether they're new or old or reconciled or whatever, I think whether they are only in there for a fleeting moment in terms of your life, or whether they're sticking around to stay, they almost open up and make you realise what has been lost. Like I said, that hand that's still been waiting, that's been asking for that mothering, asking to be nurtured within you, that inner child, or that the kind of love which maybe we close ourselves off from past hurts. So that is kind of who this person is, and now we're going to see what they are bringing. But obviously I've said, like I said at the beginning, I might go into it a bit already, and I definitely have already said some scenarios of what they could be bringing to you, but I'm going to delve further with some tarot cards as well, just to confirm for us, but also to bring any other kind of theories or kind of ways that it could be brought about, because obviously for this pile there's kind of a couple of scenarios that I can see, so it'll be good to get that. So pile 3, Spirit, what is this person bringing to their lives? What is this person bringing into pile 3's life? What is this person bringing to pile 3's life? Okay, so we have got the Ace of Coins. We have got Death. They're not the Grim Reaper, okay? Don't worry about it. It's okay. We have got the Lovers. And we've got the Keeper of Swords. Interesting. Okay, and then one more, please. And we've got the 4 of Swords too. And then on the back of the deck, we have got the 6 of Vessels. Okay, so 6 of Vessels being the 6 of Cups, which is all to do about roots, happy memories, family, reminiscing. So I feel like for a lot of people, this could be that kind of childlike joy, imagination, this opening of a box of what may, like going into like your attic and finding like a treasure trove of like memories and things like that, like the healing memories of the past, and like looking back on yourself and being like, who was that kid? Like, I know for me, I always used to say, you know, I look like a drowned rat when I'd gone like swimming or something like that. And there's so many photos of me on like a beach swimming, like looking like a drowned rat with like this gap tooth. But they evoke so much joy as well, because I'm like, that little person had so many dreams and ambitions, and so much of what I'm doing now as a tarot reader, I was naturally, as a child, like with the cycles of the universe, whether I knew it or not, and would like talk to the elements and things like that. And it's just so funny now looking back how I disconnected from that, and all with that orphan card, that for me, when I first read it, it really like evoked those feelings of me, of the things that I allowed myself and my inner child. I let like my inner critic or my adult like lead too much of it and kind of stamp out that spirit, as we sometimes do, but it's kind of like unboxing and actually realizing that everything you have, want and need is already inside of you, and maybe you've dreamed of it when you were a child. So I want to get you your oracle cards as well before I absolutely go off on one. But we've also got personal growth, we have got the 4th house, roots, and we've also got individuality. So I think this person and what they're bringing is, like I said, that reconciliation with your childlike self, with those happy memories of your past, but also whether this is new or old, and it doesn't matter which, it's that the deep roots of you and what you are growing. And actually it's about creating that soil for nurturing and for growth. And whether these are relationships which have deep entanglements that are growing with one another, have that vibrancy and depth, or whether they're new things sprouting with that journey card. And also with this Ace of Coins, this is a seed of beginning. This is a seed of sensation, a new opportunity for growth and stability and security. And this is like a new commitment in some way. So maybe it's a new path, maybe it's a new with the Ace of Coins, it's something within your physical world, maybe a new goal that you align yourself with, or a new seed planted in your mind of where you want to go. And there's this great rejuvenation from the Death card, this rebirth, and this realizing that in order for rebirth, something needs to die. There needs to be a loss of some kind, a change. And the most important thing about that change is it's going to happen already, but it's about your reaction to it and what you connect to after that point. And I think, and what I'm hearing is this Death card is not to be feared, but I think it's realizing the cycles and the cycles of the world, as there is no infinite ending. Just because you're not who you were when you were younger, you can reminisce about the past, you're not that person, but you can reconnect to parts, or you can revive them too, but you also learn from them, and you take the practices and the teachings of those things into your stride and into your future. And I think this person helps you almost maybe shatter some of the illusion, as it were, of things that were hanging over you, and maybe gives you that moment to act. Maybe for some time you were feeling this kind of maybe stagnancy, or maybe there were situations that felt they were lording over you, or like I said, maybe there was pain or turmoil from this kind of 3 of Swords that comes before the 4. Maybe there was some sorrow or some pain or grief at the hands of other people, potentially, maybe situations, maybe of what people said or said you could or couldn't do. And maybe there's this kind of, your inner critic was ran wild for a while. Like I said, mine did. Maybe you, because I feel like you have this perceptive mind, this ability to see things from different angles and feel other people's position, but sometimes you might be quite critical of yourself and actually quite cynical of your own abilities. But I think this person and what they bring to you is just maybe this kind of overwhelming feeling of being youthful and almost being a child, and realizing that you can sort through those thoughts, the kind of, and almost practice healthy detachment in a lot of ways, is what I'm hearing, is that you can actively wait for your shot to go, and actually you can make a plan for what it is you want and connect to something new. in a lot of ways. And I think with this Keeper of Swords card, you are a sharp, perceptive mind, but maybe you don't talk to yourself as a friend, or talk to yourself or your inner child as a friend. And it is a part of you, it's in part of your growth. And with this personal growth and individuality, I feel like this person allows you to be unapologetically you in a lot of ways, and connect to parts of yourself with this Lover cards. Connect to your wholeness and to what makes your heart happy, and find harmony and connection within yourself to find that wholeness and your boldness in order to then extend to other people. And with the Lovers card, potentially this could signify kind of partnership. And I mean, there's the possibility of, and especially with Roots, there's marriage, wedding associated with both cards. I'm not saying that this person is that person, but it may be for some people, especially because I was talking about those caring connections and all of those things. But I feel like it's this relationship, either way, this connection is a source of healthy release, of releasing the old and allowing those cycles, because nothing ever truly ends, only we have change of consciousness, our physical death at the end of our lives. We've constantly go through beginnings and endings. Nothing is finite until that moment. And actually, I think this is just a phase. This is a phase of your personal growth and development. And this relationship maybe opens up to the new seeds of the new way of being, of attaching to your inner child, of opening up to love in that way, if that's what's felt like it's closed off from, or felt stagnant or in the earth, as it were. And gaining a new perspective of those things, and actually the things that were once maybe hanging over you, those thoughts, those situations, that grief, that pain, other people's thoughts which may be put there, or the fear of what other people think of you, you can almost cut those swords down and have that freedom in thought. And almost you hold the key of what you will allow to kind of lord over you and control you. And actually, I think connecting to it's quite in terms of death and lovers, these major cards, this is quite a significant relationship in a lot of ways. And no matter if it's new or, like I said, reconciliation linked to Roots, I think this is something that I'm hearing baptism by fire, but it's because these flames are rising up through there. But again, that's all kind of phoenix rising from the ashes, that kind of rebirth of throwing the things into the flame that don't make you happy, like the things that sometimes we get caught up in the illusion of, that kind of inner critic, or the thoughts and thinking of other people that we allow to permeate our lives sometimes, or to dictate some of our decisions when we take advice. And actually connecting to your heart, connecting to your truth. And there's this feeling that maybe, because you're finding your individuality and your own personal growth, maybe this person is quite difficult or different from you in some ways, like opposites. Maybe it's opposites attract in a lot of senses. But in any partnership, in any connection, you can be boldly different but still stand together. And that's actually in strength in partnership. And I feel like that's the strength within yourself too, that you are a perceptive mind, that you have this kind of, your adult brain is there, you can think through situations, your perspective, but you can have that and also your inner child, that play that leads feelingly, that sees through life with curiosity. And I think this is a new opportunity to realize that both have a place, both are important within your life, and actually it's the foundation for your growth in the future, because there's already healthy roots here. Groot. Maybe Guardian of the Galaxy is a really important part of this Groot. But I feel like with that Roots card, like, you've got so much already in terms of your personal journey and your individuality, and so many things have already carved you out. And this relationship, I think, reminds you of how strong and how tenacious you are, and how you can rise above things and take on any obstacle that is in your way. And I think this person becomes someone that becomes an ally in that. When we had the Elephant card, person that helps break down obstacles, but also realizing that sometimes obstacles are placed there in order for us to find the new, in order to open up to kind of creativity, to new paths in a lot of ways. But I feel like whatever is in secret, or whatever maybe is unboxed, or something from your past that maybe you've been called, or you feel this calling to do, maybe it stirs up that passion to find happiness in what is old and familiar to you, to that feeling of sentimentality and the memories of the past, like allowing things to grow from those earliest memories potentially, and facing those like matters directly. So there's that kind of beautiful energy of looking at what was and remembering the lessons of the past and the experiences, and obviously not allowing them to rule you, but allowing them to inform you. So those things that maybe you forgot, that this person kind of engages you with again, it allows you to use those things, those thoughts, those emotions that crop up, and reconnect with them, and then make decisions based on that for your personal growth and everything on your journey forwards. So I want to get some new cards as well, so some advice. So Spirit, what else do you have for my lovely friends? So we have guidance. You are divinely guided. So of course you guys know, and I hope you know, especially from watching this video, that you have Spirit and the universe always have your back. They're always on your side. And with this guidance, you have your own internal guidance and your own intuition, and you are connected to Spirit, your higher self, and you can always rely on your internal compass to help you with those answers. Always, everything you could ever have, want, or need is already inside of you. So if a situation doesn't feel right, or if you feel guided to do something, then listen to that instinct. No matter what other people think, sometimes being the other or the wild card, that says more about them than it does about you. Go after the things that you feel guided towards, because you are guided by Spirit, and you can always ask for help and guidance too, if you find it hard to quiet your mind in any way. And I feel like when this person comes around, it might be quite painful to see that, like, the orphan in them and the orphan within you, and realizing that there's something lost to connect with. And actually your guidance will help you find that connection. We've got mystery, secrets, and hidden meanings. So the universe always has these lessons for us, and I think this person is a beautiful lesson to connecting to roots, but also to those secrets, to the secret boxes, like the stuff in the attic, the things that we lock away, or parts of ourselves that we hide maybe from the greater world, but we show our nearest and dearest. And maybe it's just that, maybe this person is a treasure trove of memories, or brings out that side where you feel like you can talk about everything. And I've just noticed all of these cards have got the moon on it, and the 4th house is ruled by the moon too. So potentially following moon cycles and manifestations at the moment of recording, and I've said this already for another pile, it is full moon in Aries, and it's all about whatever you're dreaming about, almost asking for bigger as well. But maybe it's following the that, but also the High Priestess card comes up for me when the moon's present too, because in the Rider-Waite deck there's that moon at the bottom, and it's linked to spirituality and our unconscious, our untapped potential, but also that spiritual calling of knowing that things may be shrouded in mystery. Maybe there is that unknown that we have to learn through experience, but our bodies and our instincts are always calling to us and are always there to help us with the magic of life. But I feel like in dreams as well could be quite prevalent for you at the moment, or maybe you're having a lot of dreams because there's secret and hidden meaning. So maybe doing some dream analysis in some ways, but also like maybe the things locked away, maybe there's past life regression as well. Maybe this could be past life connection for some people, but all that feeling of familiarity that, you know, reconciliation, maybe things keep happening and you keep coming together. But potentially there's other hidden ancestry and roots that maybe there's kind of generational healing for some people. But yeah, potentially the secrets within yourselves, or the things that maybe you hid away, there's time to kind of look at that, analyze that, and start remember you're keep and growing anyway. Like, you don't have to stop, wipe the slate clean and start. You keep building on who you already are and what you already have. But that's kind of the mystery of life. And maybe it's really mysterious how this person comes back. Maybe it's like very odd way of bumping into each other, but know that it's guided, and it's guided for a reason. This person is supposed to cross paths with you, and we've got growth, overcoming limitations, and obviously we've spoken about roots and about childhood and abandoning the inner child and allowing the adult to take over in some ways. So maybe, like I said, limitations of situations or thoughts, or those old stories that we tell ourselves of what we told our inner child of, no, you can't do that, we've got to do this, or that kind of inner critic talk, potentially, those thoughts that maybe inhibit our growth. It's time to kind of bring love into the situation, bring those emotional, bring those that healing energy, and overcome those limitations and say, no, what is it that you want? Because your adult is always going to help guide your inner child, but allow the inner child to play and reach out first and see where it wants to latch onto, and you can always bring it back in, but gently and softly. And I feel like the new beginnings, the sprout, and we've got so much to do with earth and roots. So maybe you're an earth sign, potentially a Virgo, Capricorn, or a Taurus. You don't have to have those placements, you could, but there's just this feeling of, what is it that I have and what is it that I want? Because you've got this great potential for growth and this great soil already that is ready to be nurtured. And like I said, these deep roots ready to go. It's about setting your sights of where you want to be, your biggest hopes and dreams, and knowing that you're being guided to that. And, you know, trust the cycles, and trust that people are coming into your life, and this person is coming into your life for a reason. And I think it is to connect you to that kind of openness of your inner child. But yeah, maybe it's connecting to love in that way as well, opening yourself up for your personal journey. And this person doesn't complete you with that Lovers card and the 2 lockets. It doesn't complete you. You are complete yourself. You have your own individuality and your own personal journey for growth. But this person is a cherry on top, or someone that helps through those obstacles, is a partner, and that's partnership, is challenging and growing, choosing to walk your separate paths together, basically, like walking your different tracks at the same time, even if they bend and go all over the place. There's that kind of interwoven feeling. So my glorious friends of pile 3, I'm going to leave this reading here for you guys today. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I've absolutely loved it. If you'd like to see me again, please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I really hope to see you guys there. Sending so much love. Bye. Hi lovely friends of pile 4. So if you picked the Marigold Tarot deck and the Honey Calcite, then this reading is going to be for you. So I'm going to put aside your tarot cards at the moment, and we're going to look at your already shuffled oracle cards for who this person is. So this person is being reflected by the archetype of the warrior, and how you'll first come into contact with this person, or what your first meeting will be like, the energy that they give you, is represented by dolphin, love, and we've also got all tied up. And then in terms of what this person will become to you, so what this connection or relationship is supposed to be, is horse energy, we have got growth, and we've also got victory. So the first thing that I'm picking up for this pile is that I feel like this person is a real symbol, is a symbol of the warrior, or is a symbol of strength and tenacity for you in so many ways. That their mind, their brilliance, the way that they show up for themselves, the battles that they have faced, that they have overcome, like the notches on their belt is what I'm hearing, like all the things that they have come up against and the victory that they have found in that. And like the and obviously there's victory there for you too in terms of the relationship and the connection later on, I feel like is the source of their power, but also the inspiration that you find from them too. Like I think it's with this warrior card, this symbol of like the ram's head is really reminding me of the Emperor card in the Rider-Waite deck, which is linked to Aries, new beginnings, the first of the zodiac, but also about order and about the order of your life and that feeling of having your foundations and your boundaries, your empire set out, and having that kind of yang action kind of authority over everything, overseeing every single part almost of your kingdom of what you want to create. And I think this warrior is a symbol of strength in this, and its fierce clarity of knowing who and when and what you stand up and fight for. And I think this is what this person is, but I think it's what also it inspires like from you too. And we've obviously got this like over the kind of third eye chakra on the skull, we've got this jewel, and I think this intuition and this instinct of the warrior. I'm hearing in from Raven, which was a kids show in the UK, the way of the warrior, of like the battles and the things that you'll go up against, but treading that path for the things that you want. And that was a competition sort of thing, but maybe this person is someone that comes up to you maybe when you're tied up or when you've got a competition or something like that. But I think it's someone who is awe-inspiring, whose journey, no matter what obstacles or difficulties you're going through, it inspires you, and their story is something that you can relate to, and their success, I think their success on the battlefield of all that they've created, and the order that they've created out of that seemingly destructive world of creativity. It's the fun, it's the blaze, it's unstable, but it's where passion lives. And I think what they've created, that foundation for themselves, is something that maybe you aspire to. With this dolphin card and how they appear to you when you first meet them, I think when you first meet this person, or when they're brought into your life, it could even be virtually. You might just meet this person on a seminar, or they might lead it, they might take a class. For some people, that's what I'm hearing, like maybe they're a teacher or something that you enroll on. And I think there is just straight away an affinity with them on your part, that you can see, and you have this, like, this is Two of Cups love energy, this just instant connection with this person, that you instantly feel that you know their story, and they might not even know the impact with this dolphin card of how much significance they have to you in such a short space of time. But their healing energy, their story, their deep intelligence, their like innate life, that is such a blessing in so many ways. It's like you feel that you were meant to cross paths with this person, or this person was supposed to tell you all the things that they tell you for a reason, that you were supposed to hear their words and feel healed from them. And they might have a strong spiritual practice, this person too. They might be a healer in some way, or maybe just their words just stir that up within you, because with this all tied up energy, potentially that is almost the energy, I feel like, where maybe you are when this person comes into your life, and or maybe somewhere which what they talk about in it. It could even be like a TED talk or something, that, because obviously we're saying who is coming into your life, but so much of our world is virtual, or you know, via learning online, or that's how we connect in so many ways. But maybe this person, like with this all tied up, is tied up elsewhere. Maybe it's not even a physical connection or something that happens, or if it is, maybe it's not that you're able to talk to this person extensively, or if you do, maybe it's just at this one event. But I think this person just becomes a symbol for you. And I think they really underestimate their impact on the world in a lot of ways, or basic. And I think Spirit's saying, especially to your world, like, I think this is a very transformative experience, and it helps kind of create the warrior almost in you. I think they could be also quite an advocate, I'm hearing. So maybe they really like look after the downtrodden or support the underdog in a lot of ways, because maybe they were an underdog themselves. And it's not necessarily that they're going to leap into, with the warrior, it would imply battle. It's not necessarily that they'll leap into your obstacles or diversions or anything like that, but I think they'll give useful tools, or their story will ignite that passion within, and open yourself up to the opportunities, or and that kind of center which they had, that kind of sense of self and that self-confidence, that self-belief, which I feel like emanates from them, that you'll be able to do the same. And what they mean to you, and what this connection means, and this is why I think it's more of a symbol. Like, maybe this person is someone that you have a tight connection with, that maybe you do meet in real life, that is on your project and that kind of thing, and helps battle through things in some way. And with this horse, I think there's a symbol of, and this is why I think it's more of a symbol, of this like real tenacious spirit of pushing past all the obstacles and finding that victory. Like, victory is assured in a lot of ways. And I think this, there's this like patience and dedication to the task at hand, this momentum and this freedom in this kind of force and energy of showing up every single day, and almost aligning with love, of this like awakening of the heart, of following what your heart's truest desires are, and boldly showing up every single day in aid of that. And this is through kind of like physical stamina, through that kind of exercise of physically making that actions and going towards, and that yang energy of making your goals and your physical manifestations a reality with that action. But it's also about that mental focus, whether that's through like meditation, through the yin cycles of attuning to your body, attuning to your emotions for that growth, because both have that kind of legacy in life. And I think that that spirit is almost that of the warrior, that they can achieve anything and then they're not going to give up. And I think this momentum feels so reliable and supportive that you never lose that vision and that feeling that you're not going to win. And I think the victory is almost assured. So whether this person is a kind of catalyst, is that dependability, that person that helps you get to that point of growth, maybe the growth and opening up of the seed of the idea that you maybe feel that you want, or helping you unblock those obstacles and push past those things, or whether they become that symbol of, I want to live my life and go after my dreams in the same tenacious way that they did, even if it was just a fleeting thing, and they become like a symbol of it's like having any idol of, like, you know, if you're in the music industry, for instance, and like holding, I don't know, I can't think of any, why can't I think of anyone? Like, you know, having that idol, that person that you want to be like, that you idolize, everything about them is what you would like. And it's not from that envy perspective, it's just that they are able to live their truth and speak their truth to the masses and get their ideas and their feeling for the world, everything it is, and like fighting, like I said, for that advocate, like that underdog, like the thing that maybe people aren't talking about, or the undiscovered thing. And bringing that to the masses in a lot of ways. And I think the victory and the triumph here is that this person almost becomes like your kind of starting block for your story in a lot of ways, because obviously you get yourself there. Even if this person is a partner who helps move this momentum on, you are just as much in this victory as they are. But what I mean by that symbol is that I think this person becomes that kind of, that story, as if you were sitting on Graham Norton or on a couch talking to like you know, a talk show host. It'd be like, oh yeah, so I was at so-and-so seminar, or I read a book by this person and it impacted me in this way. I feel like that's the kind of energy that I'm getting from this. Like, this warrior personality brings out that warrior to, and helps you apply it to the situations, but also to the things that you want to grow within your life. So I feel like that's what this person is and who this person is. So let's see what they are bringing. And obviously I've delved into that a bit already, but I'm going to delve even further for everybody through tarot cards and some shuffled oracles as well. So let's get those all out. So sorry, I couldn't, I was like, can't think of any artists. Why can I not think of anyone? It's because I was trying to think of like an underdog kind of scenario, someone kind of rising up, and there's so many of those people, but I think Spirit was basically just like, you don't need to tell them, they know. So I think everyone's got that person in their mind, everyone's got that person of who it is, like that level that they want to achieve, or those people that inspire them. So we have got the Temperance card. So for pile 4, what is this person bringing to their lives? So we have got the World. Ooh. We have got the Knight of Wands. Great. So what is this person bringing to their lives? So we have got the King of Cups 2. And we've got the 6 of Swords as well. And on the back of the deck, we have the High Priestess. Lovely. And obviously we were talking about, in terms of the horse, that that kind of meditation, that intuition, that spirituality, and also within the dolphin, that spiritual healing, that kind of connection within yourself by recognizing it in others vulnerability, and also people's creativity as well too. So let's get the oracle cards. We have communication, we have Uranus, genius, and we have moderation too. So I feel like, firstly, I feel like this person's ideas and thoughts with this genius Uranus card could really open up like a whole layer, a new perspective, and really like crack open sorry, like for like a new way of thinking for a lot of people. So with this card as well, I mean, in Victorian England, Uranians were known, were the label that were given, or the word given to, sorry, the name that were given to homosexual or transgender people, they were referred to as that. So it may feel like this person, being a Uranian, is having a different view or alternative viewpoint. Maybe that's sexuality, or maybe that's different class or background, just someone who has a different way of thinking and perspective that opens up. And I think this person's energy, and Uranus is all about this kind of rapid changes and these jolts, and this feeling that this unexpected revolution has almost happened within you. And I see that so much in terms of this communication, and I feel that 6 of Swords is that moment of opening up and leaving the thought baggage of what maybe felt tied up, or the baggage of the past, on the shoreline, and not letting that rule you anymore, and actually journeying into something new. And also, Knight of Wands and also Six of Swords. Sometimes, I mean, the Knight of Wands is can sometimes mean flight, emigration, travel, and Six of Swords can sometimes be a journey by water. So maybe this person inspires you to, and also we've got the World card. Maybe it's voyage. Maybe for some people it inspires you to travel or to do something in that realm. But that may not be for everyone, because there's other meanings associated with the cards. That's just one tangent that Spirit wanted me to talk about. But I feel like with the Six of Swords, there is this like new communication and this new, not only perspective, but a new way of talking to yourself, but talking to others about what it is that you want, that almost comes from this presence, or maybe this new way of asking for what you want, even from Spirit. And maybe that's through spirituality and your manifestations. And maybe this person's energy helps open you up in that way. And I think this person really does throw you off balance, but in a really good way, which sounds kind of hard saying, but like I was saying with the kind of dolphin and that love, I think it's that kind of rare affinity that you get with people, that you can just see yourself, or you just really feel their story and what it is that they have to say. And Uranus is all to do as well with communication, but also with technology. So that's why I had that whole thing and that feeling that maybe this person was more like a symbol, that maybe it's a story that you follow from afar and maybe you don't know this person in connection. But I think this person's energy calls for you to be a moderator in your life. With this Temperance card next to moderation here, I feel like if you've been excessive in one area of your life, or if you feel like your time and attention have been focused on something on situations that you can't control, or thought energy, maybe that's at the hands of others, maybe it's words that people have said that you can't do this or you can't do that, or maybe it's just situations that you don't want to get bogged down in, maybe that don't feel like your truest self. I feel like this is your time to communicate your healthy boundaries, but also to communicate what it is that you set your sights on, the wholeness that you see for yourself, and the journey and the goals that it is that you want coming out. And I think if you feel like you've been excessive or giving too much of yourself, this is the time to turn that internally, to give yourself and fill yourself up first, and really feel like you're alchemizing your life, that you have the control, that you're not just sitting like you're like the cook watching over the pot. The pot's not just sitting on the thing and things are getting shoved in and you feel out of control, just swirling around. No, you're the chef, seeing every single aspect of your life and bringing all the pieces that you need together. And I think that World card, I'm hearing I'm on top of the world. The Imagine Dragons song is called On Top of the World, not I'm on top of the world. But with that World card, it is that feeling of your goals, your highest goals and ambitions at the forefront of your mind, and knowing that that is your spiritual journey and purpose, but being clear and communicating that to other people, because you are going off of your instincts, your raw intuition and your instincts with that Knight of Swords, where you've got that fervent, bubbling energy and you want to take action. This Knight of Wands in one of my decks, in the Monopoly deck, is called it's not the person, it's the something, the impulsive acts first, thinks later. And I kind of love that about this card, and I think this is the energy that gets drummed up with that kind of horse energy of this, I need to make action, but in a tangible way. So it's like with this Temperance card, it's in moderation, but there's this kind of fervent bubbling up of, I feel inspired to create, to direct my intuition into the things that I want. And it's really this get up and go energy of, I'm going to show up for myself every single day. I'm going to take action towards it. And like, each small step is going to get me there. It gets me closer. And like the routine, I'm going to kick in gear. I'm going to get organized. I'm going to set my sights on what it is that I want. And with this King of Cups, there is this real deep kind of emotional And I think this is who they are to you. And obviously we're asking in this section of what they're bringing. So I think there's all this raw, inspired energy to go after your goals, to speak them clearly, and to tap into that unconscious, untapped potential within you in that High Priestess card. And knowing that you may not know exactly where the journey is going to take you, what obstacles are going to come up, or what experiences exactly, but you've overcome so much already, and you are as tenacious and have that warrior spirit as much as they do. But also with this King of Cups, this is really reminding me of that Dolphin card, that actually their creativity and their inspiring, healing spirit, the way that they want to help other people, I feel like is why you connect so much to them, is because that's what you want to do. Is that at your core, you want to help others, to nurture people, to help and almost help and inspire the underdog as well, and to raise other people up. And I think that's why it hits you and strikes that chord so much. But also there's this kind of deep maturity that you have, and this emotional maturity, that you're not as impulsive as I'm gonna act first, think later, but you've got this great intuition and creativity that is just bubbling, ready to go, and you are just as clear, like have a different perspective and a different way, innovation to rock the world as they do. And there's this kind of like, if they can do it, so can I. This really like healthy energy of, actually it's not a competition, I'm learning from these people, and actually my path is different, but that's brilliant. My differences make me strong as their differences make them strong, and I've got to be an advocate for myself. And the King of Cups is an advocate, and I think as this person is an advocate for other people, you are that for yourself, and you open yourself up to be, as well as for others. But I think it's all about communicating your boundaries and what it is that you want in your life, because the people that count will stay in it and will want to see your journey. And it doesn't mean, setting boundaries doesn't mean that you don't want someone in your life or that you're pushing them away. It means that you want to keep them in your life, but you want to keep them in the right way that helps support you. So I think that's what that Six of Swords, that accounting kind of does, of leaving what doesn't serve you behind and releasing that in order to flow into calmer waters, but into your vision, is that feeling of, I'm not leaving things behind, I'm just not taking the things I don't need to carry anymore, like energy you don't need to carry anymore. And yeah, I feel like this is a huge like karmic journey in a lot of ways, but from your own personal growth, and potentially for a lot of people, this is why I think it's, because it's, the Uranus can be quite detached and quite unemotional, but obviously we've got these kind of emotional, intuitive cards running through, and all about yourself and your center. And I think this person actually brings you closer to yourself and your own emotional needs and what it is that fuels you, as opposed to, you know, they are an emotional support for you, an emotional crutch in some ways. So they don't necessarily need to be a partner or a friend or a soulmate to you or to anyone, but they give you this reliable insight into your motivations, and their kind of coolness and their braininess, the way that their mind works, is what inspires you to realize that you are that too. And I think it's just a beautiful kind of self, kind of like hyping yourself up in a way of, because sometimes when people talk to you or they talk about their lives, sometimes you don't resonate with it, sometimes you don't click with it, but sometimes there's that person that really rocks your world, as it were, or those stories, those heroes that you had, like I was talking about idols, that whose story like may not make sense to everyone, or people might not understand why you kind of affiliate so much with them, but there's something about their energy, and there's obviously something to learn from that person, and I think there is something here too. And yeah, so whether you ever get to meet this person, or whether it's just this one time, or whether in the future you do get to say to this person, you know, you're my symbol for this, like, I think either way it's a massive transformative kind of relationship for you to have this kind of role model. And it's a way to push yourself to be emotionally true to yourself and mature in all of your ideas, but also take action, to know that you have the emotional integrity and your ideas are valued and accomplishable. You will have victory, and like, you obviously had the victory card, but also you've got the world, which is like full realization and your goals becoming complete. If you take that action, if you take what is within you, everything within you already, what you are being guided to do, communicate that and become that alchemist, to start blending it into your day-to-day routine, taking that time to do that physical, but also that mental excursion, that kind of like action and kind of inaction, non-action in terms of your like unconscious potential, taking that time to meditate, all of those things, and realign with your goals and with spirit, and asking the universe, having those manifestations ready to go. So I want to get some more advice for you from spirit before we close off. So spirit, what else do you have to tell my glorious friends? Oh, and one more. Okay. Okay. I love this. I absolutely love this. Okay. So we have got lesson, wisdom through mistakes. So like I was saying at the beginning with that all tied up card, maybe you feel like you are up against obstacles. You've maybe had too many diversions. Maybe you feel like you've made mistakes, but there is wisdom through that. And actually, I was reading the other day and it's such a beautiful lesson, but also I think it was also in a new series called 9 Perfect Strangers with Nicole Kidman and Melissa McCarthy and stuff on Amazon. Sorry, tangent. But there is this, I think it's, I'm going to absolutely screw this up. I think it's a Japanese proverb, but please correct me if I'm wrong, where actually imperfection and a vase's imperfection, if something breaks, they meld it back together, and actually I think it's gold that they put in the cracks, and it actually becomes the beautiful kind of lesson of life. And actually there is beauty in our mistakes on the journey that has got us to where we are now, all that we have learned and accomplished. It's beautiful and it should be celebrated. And you have, through this High Priestess card, you've already got everything you could ever have, want, or need inside of you, because you've gone through so much already. Like you are, with that Warrior card at the center, this person may be that kind of unlocking or kind of help revitalize you, that spirit, that tenacious spirit. But you have learned so much and you will continue to do so, and there is glory in that. Everybody has the things that they wish they had done better, all those mistakes, but it's human nature. It's what makes us beautiful, is that we can have those mistakes, that we can learn and grow for them, and that we're all fractured, that we all have things that we've done wrong. We all have things that we fear, or you know, we wish we'd done better, all those face palm moments. But our stories are what makes us colourful, and which show us apart from other people. So your individual story is a lesson, and it will be a lesson to someone else, just as I think this person coming into your life inspires you. Like I said, I think there's that kind of want to be an advocate as well within you, and extend the blessings that you've got, or the emotional things that you can, to others that impart that wisdom. You'll be able to do that too, by showing your scars, by showing what you've overcome, all the battles that you faced and how you've overcome them. So we've also got gratitude, appreciate present blessings. So yeah, exactly where you are right in this moment. Be grateful for yourself. Be grateful for the tenacity that you've shown, that you're still showing up for yourself, by no matter what mountain, no matter what trial or tribulation comes your way, you're still going for it. You're still going towards what it is that you want. And we've got this rainbow that runs through, which has run through the whole thing, with over the Warrior, with the Dolphin card, but also in Temperance and the Rider-Waite deck. It's Iris, the goddess of the rainbow is the symbol for that card. And it's this healing and this transformation after storms, that you need the storms, you need the joy, you need the blend of life to bring about this beautiful light. And we also obviously had the victory card as well down here. So yeah, be grateful for exactly where you are, the people in your life at this present moment, and for all the lessons you've learned so far and will continue to grow in order to get over those mountains. And we've also got don't stop. A miracle is around the corner. And I think this is even more confirmation from the beginning of you meeting this person, of you finding that spirit. But you have, and I am getting such a warm feeling, and spirit is saying they are gems. You are gems. You people who are watching this pile, everyone is, but you are such a beautiful gem. You have got so much to offer, so much beauty to offer. And with this High Priestess card, that untapped potential that maybe you don't fully see within yourself, that you are a treasure trove, a gift, a true gift to this world. And you are here for a reason, and you are here to teach people, to show and give lessons, but also to, I think with this Uranus card, I think you're a genius. I think you're here to innovate. You're here to communicate something new, but to be a source for someone else as well, and a symbol of personal strength for other people. And whatever it is that you're setting your sights on, keep going. Don't stop. I think you're closer than you think you are. And spirit is just here saying absolutely. And with this moon here, it's full moon, and I've already said this at time of recording, it is a full moon in Aries, and it's all about whatever you're asking for, ask bigger. And I think the miracle is you, firstly. The serenity, the hope, the faith that you have in showing up every single time, even if you can't see the tangible results. You are that guiding star for yourself. You are that miracle by pouring faith into something that you can't yet see, by having those dreams, by feeling guided by something and still showing up each time for it, to keep picking up that spade and keep digging away. And firstly, you are the miracle, and I hope that you mine that outside, like you realize that already. But like the miracles for your, like the physical miracles that you want in your life, the physical things that you would like to accumulate, or the dreams and ambitions you have, they are so close. So please don't stop. Yeah, spirit is saying just keep going, keep your manifestations, your dreams, keep talking to us, keep asking us for it through this High Priestess card. Keep calling out to spirit, to the universe, to your guides. We're here to support you. The universe has your back. And yeah, I think you're closer than you think, and this person is just a catalyst to remind you of how strong you are and how far you are going to go. So yeah, you are inspiring, my lovely friend. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm going to leave this reading here for you guys today. You filled my heart with so much warmth. Thank you. If you'd like to see me again, please do hit that subscribe button. I've adored reading your cards, and I would love to read them again. So hopefully I'll see you again in the future. Until that point, I'm sending so much love, my darling friends. Bye.